Boiled cow milk is very nutritious, good for our health and safe. Properly produced milk has a sweet taste and smell, is creamish white in color, and keeps well when refrigerated. This video shows you how to milk hygienically to ensure the best quality milk from your cows and avoid contamination by bacteria. You get clean, bacteria-free milk if you keep the cow, the milking environment, the milking utensils, and your hands clean. But you will get less milk and less income if harmful bacteria get into your milk or into the cow's teats, where they can cause a disease called mastitis. So what are bacteria? Bacteria are far too small to see with our eyes, but when we magnify the cowshed floor, we see that bacteria are very tiny living things, some of which are harmful, but most are harmless. Bacteria are found everywhere, including on our hands and skin, on cow's skin, on the cow's tail, in cow dung and other animal droppings, in the soil, and so on. Some bacteria, like those that make fermented products like tindi or maziwa lala, are even very beneficial. But remember that the harmful bacteria will be present in cow dung and general dirt and dust and in milk from sick cows and on anything that has touched that milk or been contaminated by dirt and dust. Your cow is most at risk of getting the bacteria that cause mastitis during milking and up to 30 minutes afterwards, because milking opens the cow's teat canals, and they take time to close again. Keeping the cow, the milking shed, the milking utensils, and your hands clean will prevent these harmful bacteria from getting into the cow's teats and into milk. You can clean cow's teats in two ways: by using a disinfectant like Mastrite and giving the cow feed just before milking, or by using a damp cloth and feeding the cow after milking. With both methods, always milk problem cows, such as those that are restless or have mastitis, last. This will prevent stress and infectious diseases like mastitis from spreading between your cows. Now, follow the procedures shown carefully. Using a disinfectant is the best method and is quick and easy to use on a clean cow. A teat disinfectant like Mastrite or another brand of teat disinfectant will kill any bacteria on the teats. Get the following items ready and within reach before you sit down to milk: Mastrite, a teat dip cup, milking salve, a mastitis strip test cup with a black interior, tissue paper, which can be in a simple dispenser as shown here, a bucket of water and soap to wash your hands, a bin for used tissue paper, a bucket for the milk, preferably metal, and an extra container for any bad milk. To prepare enough of the Mastrite solution for one day, follow the instructions written on the packaging. If you need to dilute the Mastrite, do so using only boiled water that has been cooled down. Get the feed ready for the cow that is to be milked. Lead the animal to be milked into the clean milking shed, tether it, and feed it. It will start to eat. Tie the tail to the stall or one of the back legs of the cow so it cannot swish its tail into the milk or in your face. Wash your hands and dry them with a tissue or clean cloth. Do not touch the milking stool after washing your hands. Place it in position before washing your hands or move it into position with your foot. Dip the teats one by one in the mastrite solution. Then, starting with one teat at a time, massage the mastrite into the teat and then check for mastitis as follows. Strip a little milk, 2 to 3 squeezes only, into the strip cup. Look closely into the cup after every teat strip. If the milk has any lumps or is watery, yellowish with pus, or has blood stains, then there is a mastitis infection. Do not let milk contaminated by mastitis get onto your clothes, the milking utensils, or the milking shed floor, where it can contaminate your other cows. Wipe mastrite off the teats with dry tissue paper in one twisting movement, but wipe any mastitis-affected teats last, and discard the tissue in the waste bin. Then, using clean dry fingers, take a little milking salve and lubricate the cow's good teats. Milking salve has healing properties. Milking jelly has no healing properties. Be sure to lubricate and milk any infected teats last to avoid contaminating the other teats. Close the lid of the milking salve container after every use to stop dust and bacteria getting in. Now, start milking. First, milk any non-infected teats on the cow. Then, milk the infected teats last into a separate container. While milking, squeeze out the milk as you see here. Do not pull like this. Pulling may damage the teat canal. After the milking session ends, treat any wounds or cracks on the teats with the milking salve. Treat infected teats last. Milking a teat opens the teat canal, which remains open and exposed to introduction of bacteria for about half an hour after milking. Therefore, dip each teat with mastrite again immediately after milking and treating any wounds, and leave to dry on the teats to further prevent bacteria that could cause mastitis. Mastrite will also keep off flies. Dip any infected teats last. Wash your hands again after milking each cow, so that your hands are clean before milking the next one. Finally, discard any mastitis-contaminated milk from the extra container to the toilet when you have finished milking all your cows. And call your vet to come and treat the mastitis. If you do not have a teat disinfectant like mastrite, you can use a damp cloth to clean the teats before milking. Water and cloth can carry harmful bacteria, and this method of cleaning teats is now the least preferred method. Milking without a teat disinfectant also means that your cow is not protected against bacteria entering the teat canal right after milking, while the teat canals are open. If you intend to use damp cloths, you will need a disinfectant like Jik or chlorine, a bucket, clean cloths, milking salve, a mastitis strip cup with a black interior, a bin or bucket for used cloths, a bucket for the milk, preferably metal, 5 liters of clean water, warm if possible, and another container for bad milk. Immediately before milking, Fill the bucket with 5 liters of clean water and a pinch of chlorine or a capful of jig, and add 1 cloth per cow so that each cow's udder can be cleaned with a fresh, clean cloth. Lead the cow to the milking shed. Tether her. Tie the cow's tail as you have seen, but do not feed the cow. Wash your hands, but do not touch the milking stool afterwards. Either place it in position before washing your hands or move it into position with your foot. The method of cleaning the teats with a cloth is very important. Start with a fresh, clean cloth. Squeeze as much water out as possible. Clean the tip of the teats first. Then clean the rest of the teats without touching the tips of the teats again. Always clean with a downward movement from the udder towards the teat. If you use cloths that are too wet, dirty water from the udder can run down onto the tips of the teat. This dirty water is full of bacteria, which may enter the teat canal or the milk when you start milking. Be careful. Put used cloths in a separate bucket or bin. Do not put them back into the bucket with the other clean cloths. Lubricate the teats with a bit of milking salve and then do the mastitis test with the strip cup as shown earlier. After checking all teats for mastitis, continue milking. Remember to squeeze the milk out. Do not pull, because this will damage the teat canal and your cow will become less productive over time. Always milk any infected teats last. Treat cracked teats immediately after milking with milking salve, but do not touch the tips of the teats. After milking, the teat canals are open for about half an hour and are exposed to introduction of bacteria. So you must feed your cow now to keep the cow standing for at least 30 minutes. This will allow the teat muscles to close before the cow lies down on the ground. Finally, discard any mastitis contaminated milk from the extra container to the toilet when you have finished milking all your cows, and call your vet to come and treat the mastitis. After milking each cow, sieve the milk into a clean metal container or milk churn using a clean metal sieve or a clean disinfected cloth. Do not use a plastic sieve, which will be very difficult to clean and likely to breed bacteria. Divide the milk for home use and for sale, and cover the milk. Measure out fresh, warm milk to feed calves, or let the calf suckle 1 or 2 teats after you have finished milking the other teats. If you suspect mastitis, do not sell the milk. Mixing even a small bit of mastitis milk with good milk can quickly spoil the sweet, fresh taste of all the milk. Cool down milk for sale quickly, using a cold water bath if it will take more than 2 hours to send the milk to the dairy. Bacteria grow very fast in warm milk, but more slowly in cold milk, which is why cooling down your milk as soon as possible after milking is very important. Experts recommend 4 to 7 degrees Celsius for milk storage. So use the coldest water you have in the water bath. Replace the cold water as often as you can and shake the churn during cooling to make sure the milk cools evenly and quickly. Boil the milk for home consumption to eliminate risk of brucellosis, which is a serious disease caused by a special kind of bacteria called brucella. In cows, this infectious disease often causes abortions and is also known as abortion fever. This disease can also affect people. After boiling, make sure you cool milk down again quickly if you want to store it. Do a milk spoon test for milk that has been standing for more than 2 hours without heating or cooling. Heat a spoonful of milk over a candle flame to boiling point. If the milk separates, it is not good and should be discarded. This is particularly important for evening milk, which was not boiled or cooled immediately after milking. If evening milk has been cooled down as described earlier, any bacteria that have got into it will only grow slowly, and the milk could still be sent to the dairy. But do not mix with morning milk, because then all the milk might go bad. To be safe, boil the evening milk and sell to neighbors or use for home consumption. After milking, clean the milking area and wash all utensils, including cloths, using a good washing up detergent. Rinse in clean water and disinfect with boiling water. Dry utensils upside down, preferably in the sunlight. 8 important steps to remember when milking. 1. Wash hands before milking each cow and do not touch the milk during milking. 2. It is highly recommended to disinfect teats before milking to prevent bacteria getting into the milk or into the teats. 3. Check for mastitis using a strip cup every day. 4. Always milk animals with mastitis last and milk the infected teats of these animals last. 5. It is highly recommended to disinfect the teats after milking. 6. Use clean, disinfected, preferably metal milking utensils, buckets, and transport containers. Plastic of any sort, buckets, sieves, etc. are not preferred as they are not easy to clean or sterilize. 7. Vaccinate your cows against brucellosis and call the vet for any health problem, including signs of mastitis. 8. Do not drink milk that has not been boiled.